Joining us right now is former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. Governor Huckabee, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. So this is a big debate that we're having this morning. Look, a lot of the Twitter followers are mad as hell about Romney. What's your take on Romney's chances over Rudy Giuliani, even over David Petraeus? Give us your sense.
Well, you know, if Donald Trump is asking me for his advice, and he's not on this particular position, but here's what it would be. You should do everything you can to give Mitt Romney a job, just as he did everything he could to give you one.
Ooh.
So you figure how that works out.
I get it.
Yeah,
look,
there you go.
One of the most important things, well, you've got to surround yourself with people like Secret Service people who will take a bullet for you rather than pull a bullet in you. That's not who you surround yourself with. The Secret Service people, for example, they'll give the president the best advice they have and say, I don't think you should go there, I don't think you should do this, but ultimately they recognize it's his decision. That's how you surround yourself with people who will be honest, who will even disagree, but once the decision is made, they keep those disagreements behind closed doors. They don't go to a microphone, hold a news conference, and tell everybody that you're not fit for the job.
Look, he was really rude to Donald Trump. Let's be honest, panel, right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, he called him a fraud. He said, you know, the only thing that is more of a fraud than Donald Trump is a degree from Donald Trump University.
Well, Governor, whose idea is this then? Because you don't seem on board with it. Newt Gingrich most definitely doesn't seem on board with it.
I don't think Giuliani's.
So where did the idea come from?
You mean, Dagan, you sense that I was not 100% behind this? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No, look, let me...
No, seriously,
the only thing that would
whose idea is
surprise me-
this
Not from. We want to know.
Well, you know, the only thing that would surprise me more than Donald Trump offering the position would be that Mitt Romney would take it. And if he does, then I'd have to question, why would he do it? Because, I mean, if you don't believe that the person who has offered you a position is a person that you can trust, you think he's a fraud, a con man, a phony, I mean, all the things that he was called, and then take the job, then you have to think, boy, his ambition is so great that he would take a position from someone for whom he holds utter contempt. I just can't imagine that that makes any sense.
This is a different you. I'm seeing, because you are you're a pragmatic man, but very loyal to Donald Trump, and you are publicly questioning this idea.
He's being honest.
Well, but here's the thing. I don't know that Donald Trump is about to launch it. I'm speaking now as objectively as I can from the standpoint of somebody who appointed thousands of people over the course of my career, and I understand what that means. I know that personnel is policy. When you put people in jobs, you've just put your policy in place, whether you know it or not. You may announce a policy, but if people are not with you, don't have your worldview, you don't want to surround yourself with yes men. You want to make sure that you've got people who will argue their points and disagree with you and do it vociferously, but behind closed doors. And when you make the decision, they stand, they salute, and if they absolutely morally can't go with you, then they have the good sense to resign and quietly go away. That's what you do. You give two things to a president. You give him your loyalty and you give him your confidentiality.
Is there anything about Mitt Romney and his resume that makes him a good candidate? I mean, like, there are a lot of really smart, you know, people that could be Secretary of State. What's so special about Mitt Romney in that role?
I mean, I don't know. There's not any diplomatic experience. It's not like he has been an ambassador.
So that's what I'm saying.
What you really want in the Secretary of State is somebody who does share your worldview, your vision of foreign policy, your understanding of the world, where its dangers are. Now, it could be that, you know, Donald Trump, after being elected and getting those early security briefings, has looked at the world situation and the domestic situation we face, and I have it on good authority that it's Donald Trump who's going to be asking for the recount, not Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Before we move on, Governor, we got to ask you, you denied reports last week that you were being considered for ambassador to Israel. Are you open to serving in this role?
Donald Trump and I talked last week at the Trump Tower. We had a good meeting. He offered me, you know, a position, a cabinet position. It's a wonderful job, but it wasn't really, for me, a good fit. And, you know, I'm at a point in my life where I'm not looking to take a government job. It's not something that I've got to have on my resume. If I thought that there was something that I could contribute, something that I was passionate about, I would certainly entertain it. But I didn't do a thing I did to help Donald Trump get elected because I thought there was something in it for me. I don't care. I like my life. I like the private sector a lot. I mean, I've spent years in the public sector getting ground up like sausage. So I'm not just dying to go back and, you know, get on the government payroll. That's really one way I can be utterly honest with you, with Donald Trump, with anybody, because if it affects me not being considered, then so be it. I'm fine with that, because I wanted Donald Trump to be elected president so he would drain the swamp, so he would shake things up and disrupt things. And I still want that to happen, and I think millions of Americans who voted for him, that's what they're hoping for, too.
Yeah.
Governor, this is odd, though, because you said that you were offered something that wasn't a good fit for you.
Ambassador to Israel.
And then, but then Nikki Haley is off, as we reported, offered something that on the surface doesn't seem like a great fit. So what is the thinking going on here? State Department for Mitt Romney potentially, and he doesn't have any foreign policy experience.
Ambassador to Israel.
What's going on?
Huckabee, Nikki Haley.
Right.
What's happening? Yeah.
Well, look, I think a president, you know, needs to be able to appoint the people that he or she feels comfortable with. And to the victor goes the spoils, and part of the spoils is you get to pick the people who serve in your administration. I mean, there's 4,100 different political appointed jobs that the president has to fill. Not all of them are vastly important, make the front page of the papers, but there's a lot of people in personnel positions that have to be picked. You know, he needs to surround himself not with people who are elbowing their way to the front to be selected. He needs to pick the people that he believes share his vision, his purpose, who are willing to go to the mat for him. And I mean, I think that more than anything, as I often say, and I think I've said it on this show many times, loyalty, confidentiality, the two things you've got to bring to your president. And if you can't bring those two things, then he doesn't need you, and you shouldn't take the job.
Governor, let me ask you about something that did hit the front page, okay? This is the front page of the Wall Street Journal this morning. Despite what he said on the campaign trail, the president-elect will not pursue charges against Hillary Clinton on her use of a private email while serving as Secretary of State. Okay? He said Trump pulls back on call for Clinton investigation. What do you think about this? If Trump does not appoint a special prosecutor for this case, are people going to be upset?
Well, first of all, I think it may have kind of hit him in the face with reality that the president doesn't launch investigations. The Justice Department does. And the fact that he's not going to personally pull the trigger is good, because that's not a healthy thing for a president to do, is to say, we're going to go after this person or, you know, that one. And so from that standpoint, I totally agree with him. Now, if the Justice Department has evidence and it becomes clear that there were things that were done that violated the law, things that have put other people in prison, then I think they've got to follow that. If they don't, then we don't have a justice system. We have a privileged system. And people who are privileged get away with breaking the law, and people who aren't privileged, well, they don't. They take the full force of it. That brings cynicism, the kind of cynicism that really drove a lot of this, this year's election.